Have you ever wondered how the universe would look if you were born thousands of years ago inside a dark, isolated cave? How much of what we call science today is actually rooted in the raw fears and primal curiosity of our ancient ancestors? Today, we are traveling back in time to a world with no numbers, no books, and no word for physics, because it was precisely there in the pitch black that the first seed of science was planted. Imagine waking up, stepping out of your cave, and looking at the sun. You look around, and you notice the environment has changed. It's bright, you know it's morning, but you have absolutely no idea why. All you know is that this overwhelming darkness, speckled with tiny dots of light and one massive glowing orb, constantly trades places with the daytime brightness. What are those lights? Why does the darkness vanish? You realize that when you step inside your cave, everything goes dark. So your primitive mind asks, is there a mega cave out there? Is our entire world entering a giant cavern every single night? And if so, who is pulling us into it? But ordinary nights were not the only shadows haunting your mind. Imagine a day when the ultimate source of life, the sun, suddenly begins to vanish. In the middle of noon, a dark shroud swallows the light. To your primitive heart, this isn't just darkness, it's the end of existence. You have no words for an eclipse or electrostatic discharge. When lightning rips through the heavens, it feels like the roar of an invisible, angry monster demanding a sacrifice. The world outside feels chaotic, unpredictable, and deeply terrifying. Nature seems to have no rules, no memory, and no mercy, and so you run back into the darkness of your cave, trembling, completely at the mercy of the unknown. The next morning, you don't just look, you observe. The sun rises from the exact same direction as yesterday. It's a pattern. Usually when things repeat endlessly, our brains stop questioning them, but this time, you don't stop. You plant a dry branch in the ground. An hour passes. The shadow has moved. You stare at it. It's crawling like a silent, invisible creature. A revelation hits your primitive mind. If the shadow is moving, then either the sun is moving, or the ground beneath your feet is moving, or maybe both. You don't have a word for measurement yet, but for the very first time in human history, you are not just seeing, you're comparing. You decide to do something incredible. You take a few small pebbles and place them in the dirt, marking the exact spot where the shadow ends. You wait, you watch, and you realize the shadow follows a line, a geometric path carved by light. The next day, the miracle happens. The sun rises, the shadow moves, and it touches every single pebble at the exact same moment as yesterday. For the first time, the terrifying, chaotic universe reveals a secret. It has order. It has a rhythm. It is predictable. This simple branch in the dirt wasn't just a tool. It was one of humanity's earliest scientific instruments. Long before clocks, mathematics, or universities, humanity had just discovered the foundation of all physics, that nature follows unwritten laws. When you share these thoughts, some laugh, others are terrified. They tell you not to stare at the sky. They tell you there are hidden, angry deities behind the clouds, invisible beings who bring the day, take the night, and throw fire from the heavens when they are angry. And honestly, those answers were comforting. It is so much easier to give the unknown a human face. A god for thunder, a spirit for rain, a living entity for the sun. These answers are quick. They silence the fear. But there was a problem. Those answers ended the question, they didn't solve it. If you say a deity changes the moon, you stop asking why it changes with such perfect, predictable geometry. But something had just been born inside you that was stronger than fear, and more permanent than myth. The urge to understand. But the stick in the dirt held a deeper, grander secret. Over many moons, you noticed something else.
The shadow doesn't just move through the day, it changes shape throughout the entire year. In the freezing cold, the shadow is stretched and long. In the burning heat, it is short. You realize the universe has a larger rhythm, a grand cycle of life and death. The simple stick is no longer enough. You need monuments. You and your tribe build colossal pillars of stone, aligning them perfectly to trap the sunlight on the longest and shortest days of the year. You have taken the first steps toward creating a calendar. With this, you are no longer a victim of nature's chaos. You can predict the deadly winter. You know exactly when the animals will migrate and when the plants will grow. By merely measuring the light, humanity had just gained the closest thing to a superpower, the ability to predict the future. Once the fear of the dark was conquered, humanity looked up with an entirely new purpose. Imagine leaving the safety of the land, floating out into the endless, terrifying ocean. Out there are no mountains, no roads, no landmarks, only the watery abyss. But you look up. You realize that while the sun rules the day, the stars are the compass of the night. A few distinct, brilliant lights in the sky never seem to move. They stay anchored, guiding your way through the darkness. The cosmos was no longer just a mystery. It had become humanity's very first map. As centuries rolled by, that lonely stick in the dirt evolved. In ancient Egypt and Babylon, priests and thinkers realized the cosmos wasn't just a painting, it was a colossal, ticking mechanical clock. They began to count. They began to measure. In ancient Greece, a philosopher named Thales did the impossible. Using nothing but a simple walking staff and the length of its shadow, he calculated the exact height of the Great Pyramid of Giza. He proved that the laws of geometry could measure the giants of the earth. Then came Pythagoras, who claimed the universe was built on a hidden code of numbers and harmony. The transition was complete. Humanity had stopped fearing the chaos and started writing the first equations of reality. The universe finally had a language. And just like that, in the pitch black of ancient caves, long before the word physics existed, the seed of science was planted. It was born the moment we decided to look past easy answers and look for the hidden order beneath the chaos. Two paths diverged that night. One path said, "Create a story for the unknown so you can sleep peacefully." The other path said, "Stare at the unknown, find its pattern, make a guess, test it, and if you are wrong, have the courage to change your mind." The first path gave us mythology. The second path gave us science. Yet both paths started at the exact same moment, on a night when a human looked up at the stars and asked, "Why?" If you still feel that primal urge to understand the universe, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Until next time, keep asking why.